In a sun-drenched suburb of Seattle, where the evergreen trees whisper secrets to the Pacific breeze, lived the Millers. Their home was a modest, light-filled sanctuary defined by the chaotic joy of a growing family. At the heart of this joy were two inseparable souls, a 3-year-old boy named Leo and a majestic German shepherd named Max. Their friendship was not merely a domestic convenience, it was a profound, silent language that echoed through the hallways of their American life. Max had been with the Millers since he was a clumsy pup with oversized paws, and from the moment Leo was brought home from the hospital, the dog had transitioned from a playful companion to a vigilant guardian. Every morning began with the same ritual. As the golden light filtered through the slats of the blinds, Max would nudge Leo's bedroom door open with his snout. He wouldn't bark or jump. He would simply sit by the bedside, his tail thumping rhythmically against the floorboards until Leo's eyes flickered open. The day's first interaction was always a flurry of giggles and fur. Leo would reach out his small, dimpled hands to bury them in Max's thick coat, and Max would respond with a gentle, damp lick to the boy's cheek. It was a partnership built on a foundation of absolute trust, a testament to the specialized bond that can only exist between a child and a dog who considers that child his entire world. The image of them sitting together on the large gray ottoman in the living room became a permanent fixture of the Miller household. To an outsider, a German shepherd's size might seem intimidating next to a toddler, but in that house, Max was a gentle giant. The way Leo would fearlessly explore the textures of Max's face, sometimes accidentally tugging an ear or investigating the dog's teeth with innocent curiosity, was met with nothing but stoic patience. Max understood Leo's fragility. He moved with a calculated grace whenever the boy was near, ensuring his heavy tail didn't knock the toddler over and leaning his weight into Leo just enough to provide a sense of grounded security. Their life in America was a tapestry of seasonal adventures. In the autumn, they would spend hours in the backyard, Max leaping through piles of crunchy maple leaves that Leo had spent all afternoon helping his father rake. In the winter, when the Washington rain turned to a rare dusting of snow, Max would become a sled dog of sorts, patiently allowing Leo to hold onto his harness as they trekked through the white landscape. Their friendship was a spectacle of pure, unadulterated love that required no translation. Inside the house, the atmosphere was one of warmth and shared history. Framed photos on the mantelpiece told the story of their journey together. Trips to the Oregon coast where Max chased the surf while Leo built sandcastles, and quiet afternoons in the park where they shared snacks under the shade of ancient oaks. The Millers often remarked that Max wasn't just a pet, he was the emotional glue of the family. He sensed when Leo was frustrated or tired, offering a quiet presence that calmed the boy better than any toy or television show could. As the sun began to set over the Olympic Mountains, casting long, purple shadows across their neighborhood, the duo would settle down for the evening. Leo, exhausted from a day of play, would often fall asleep with his head resting on Max's flank. The dog would stay perfectly still, his ears occasionally twitching at the sounds of the evening, his golden eyes watching the door. This was their American dream, not one of material wealth, but one of profound companionship, safety, and a love that bridged the gap between species. It was a life lived in the present tense, where every wag of a tail and every childish laugh was a brick in the fortress of their beautiful, shared life. The story of Leo and Max was a living reminder that the greatest adventures are often found in the simplest moments of friendship, within the four walls of a home filled with light. As Leo grew from a toddler into a spirited young boy, the nature of his bond with Max evolved, taking on a deeper, more intuitive complexity. Their home in the Pacific Northwest remained their sanctuary, a place where the cedar-scented air and the soft patter of rain against the windowpane provided the soundtrack to their shared existence. The large gray ottoman was still their favorite meeting spot, though Leo's legs now dangled further down the side, and Max's muzzle had begun to show the first faint dustings of silver. This transition into a new chapter of childhood didn't weaken their connection. Instead, it solidified Max's role as Leo's confidant and silent partner in every backyard expedition. Their afternoons were often spent exploring the wooded perimeter of their property. To Leo, the small cluster of Douglas firs was a vast, enchanted forest, and Max was his noble steed and scout. Leo would pack a small backpack with supplies, usually a juice box, a handful of crackers, and a tennis ball, and they would set off. Max would lead the way, his nose working overtime to track the squirrels and rabbits that darted through the underbrush, yet he never strayed more than a few feet from Leo's side. If Leo tripped over a protruding root, Max was there instantly, bracing his sturdy body so the boy could pull himself back up. There was a protective aura around the dog, an invisible shield that seemed to expand whenever they left the safety of the porch. The neighborhood children often watched them with envy. It wasn't just that Leo had a dog, it was that he had a shadow. When the local kids gathered for a game of touch football in the street, Max would sit on the sidewalk, his head moving back and forth like a spectator at a tennis match, never taking his eyes off Leo. If the play got too boisterous, or if a stranger approached the group, a low, barely audible rumble would vibrate in Max's chest, not a threat, but a clear communication of his presence. He was the silent supervisor of the Miller household, a role he took with a seriousness that was both touching and profound. Evenings in the Miller home shifted from the chaotic energy of toddlerhood to a more reflective, quiet warmth. After dinner, while Leo's parents sat in the kitchen discussing their day, the boy would sit on the rug in the living room, doing his early schoolwork. Max would lie across his feet, providing a heavy, warm blanket that seemed to help Leo focus. When the boy struggled with a difficult word or a math problem, he would reach down and stroke Max's velvet ears. The dog would respond with a deep sigh, a sound of absolute contentment that filled the room. It was in these quiet moments that the true scale of their friendship was felt, a wordless understanding that provided Leo with a sense of emotional equilibrium that many adults spend a lifetime seeking. As the years pressed on, the stories they created together became the legends of the household. There was the time Max saved Leo's favorite stuffed dinosaur from a high shelf by nudging a chair into place, and the time Leo shared his secret stash of birthday cookies with Max under the dining room table, both of them wearing identical expressions of guilty pleasure when they were caught. These weren't just anecdotes. They were the threads of a rich, American tapestry of life. Their friendship stood as a beacon of what it meant to be truly seen and accepted. In Max's eyes, Leo was the center of the universe, and in Leo's heart, Max was the hero of every story. The beauty of their life in the suburbs was its consistency. While the world outside changed with dizzying speed, the rhythm of Leo and Max remained a steady, comforting pulse. They taught each other about the world, Leo teaching Max about the joy of a well-thrown ball and the comfort of a shared blanket, and Max teaching Leo about loyalty, the importance of being present, and the quiet power of a steady gaze. As the moon rose over the damp, emerald landscape of Washington, the two of them would eventually retreat to their respective spots, ready to face the next day exactly